Hey guys, good morning. It's Tony. Before I start the video, I do want to say please like, subscribe, and comment. If you want to join the Patreon, you can join at www.patreon.com/but I'm not a trader. Um, Yesterday's drop was pretty nice. We did touch that 458, close to 459, like I was talking about yesterday, and then we saw that big, well, not really big drop, but we saw the drop from 458 ish, almost 459, down to 454, right? So we dropped about $4, on that from the high to low. And you're already starting to recover. So, which is not, I don't want to say it's, I don't want to, because I want the market to go down, but that doesn't mean it will, right? Um, there you go. So right now I'm just kind of building out this channel to kind of show you guys where I think our range is. So our range, our real range, right, it's pretty easy, right? It's just gonna be this high from yesterday to the low that we have here. So that's essentially our range right now, right? Anything between like a 454 and that 458, 459 high from yesterday, right? Um, you could technically reject from here, right? Because you are on that mid channel, right? But my guess is that you push a little bit higher before you actually reject the low shot, the low side. If you do, I'm a little bit more bullish today than anything else. If anything, I'm actually pretty, I'd say I'm pretty bullish towards the upside, because the 4 hour is closing bullish on SPY, right? And as much as either it literally just closed, so the 4 hour right now did close bullish, right? So, just by trigger means, that means that for myself at least, like I am, I have to be bullish just because we did close. I can definitely see a retracement right now. This 15-minute is going to close, so I would probably take this short all day long. Right, you're probably going to drop depending on how strong this drop is, and if you break this like 455, 51 on SPY or on SPX, right? I usually do all my charting on SPX because it's just better. If you drop below this 4, 5, 5, 8 in the next, within, in, I don't know, the next maybe hour or so, 30 minutes, then I can definitely see us dropping all the way back down to 455, right? And if we drop back down here, right, like if you come all the way back down and you actually come back to this 455, then there's a really good chance, and you close like an hour candle there's a really good chance that we drop back to this mid channel right here, right? So what I would like to see ideally is I would like this to come back down, close a candle over this channel, and then you basically have, I don't want to say guaranteed, but you have a really good shot at coming back down to 453-ish sometime today. I don't know if that's going to happen simply because we are closing more towards the bullish side. Keep in mind, SPY extended hours did close that 4 hour bullish, and on SPX, you're not closing this 4 hour for another hour. So at 6 o'clock, and you do have, right? You do have this news coming out today, right? So you do have core price or core PCE, which is important, and then you also have the unemployment claims as well as the Chicago PMI and home sales, right? So yeah, very important news coming out, and with like in 30 minutes, right? So we can definitely see a nice drop before then. This rally could have just been a push towards the upside, basically towards news, right? And this whole thing can dump right now because nobody wants to hold for news. You have a really nice inverse head and shoulders pattern right here, by the way. Look at that, beautiful. And then you have your perfect 5-minute entry right here. You could have taken this long from 455, right? 455, straight shot up. So super nice long there. Again, I'm not bullish yet until we actually do close a 4 hour on SPX. And again, we're still technically bearish, right? You're in this bearish cycle, right? So I can't really say that I'm bullish until this closes in 1 hour. If there's like a little green dot here, there's a green dot there, then I can definitely say that I'm definitely bullish. But as of right now, I can't really say that I'm bullish, right? I don't know where we're gonna go. I'm looking for one of two things. Either I will not trade anything until after news, obviously. But I'm really thinking that right now, because you have see such a huge pickup towards the upside, right? So right now you're such at a 50-50 location because of news in 30 minutes that it's kind of hard to make a decision. But after news comes out, you can have a really good idea of what your direction is probably going to be, right? Because on news days, TA doesn't really work too much beforehand, and usually it usually follows um, like the current bias, right? And the current bias is still bearish, right? As much as people deny this, like the current bias right now for the market is bearish, right? So overall, market is right now, as of right now, it's technically, in a bearish bias, right? And that's in a bearish sentiment right now, right? So, we could have big drops or start to have big drops, right? But as of right now, where we are, you see, even right now, right, on this 5 minute, you see how these candles like start to pick up really fast to the upside, right? So you have like this big drop, and then immediately you start to recover with that minute. So, you have to start seeing big candles to the low side in order to actually have, drops, right? You can't have a lot of buyers just buying a random candle up here, right? When you have like candles up here being bought, that's when the market is extremely strong, right? So, in 10 minutes, we're going to be closing this 15-minute bear trigger. So I do expect this to probably drop a little bit lower, maybe back to like a 4561, 4558, somewhere around this level. And if this low breaks, we're probably going down. But again, your range is very, very simple today, right? It's the very, 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 very simple range. It's the high from yesterday, right? Which was up here, 458, to the low of yesterday, which is 454. That's basically your whole range for today, right? If you actually break this, if you close an hour candle, right? If you close an hour candle like down here somewhere, like over this channel, so here, I'll show you guys again. And I know it's, right, like something like this. If you close like an hour candle like this, like that, something like that, right, towards the low side, something like an hour candle closing over, there's like a 90% chance you're going to drop to like 453, and then you have weekly support at 453 4 on the SPX, right? This is weekly support, which should be very strong. But if you do break this to the low side, you're coming back down to at least a 451, 450, right? So a lot of things that can happen. It's kind of hard to say right now with news not coming out, but right now, the market does look like it's going to keep pushing towards the upside. That's just like the straight fact, right? You came down to channel, you touched channel, came back up, and there's either one or two things that can happen, right? You either, keep pushing towards like maybe like a 458 again and then drop, or you do this, right? So there's really only one or two things. Whether, are we going to go to 458 again, or are we going to reject this mid-channel level, or we're going to come back to 455? And if we do come back here, very high chance you go to 454, right? And then a really good, I don't want to say example, but a really good way of finding what exactly is happening is also the DXY, right? So the dollar is actually running, or from yesterday, it ran pretty hard, but it keeps getting rejected from this level, right? From this 103-ish for weekly resistance right here, right? And it can't be doing that, right? If it keeps getting rejected from there, it's not going to be, a good time for anybody, right? But you do have that 2-day closing on DXY tomorrow, not soon, but tomorrow, right? And that has to close. And again, these 2 days can get pretty, be the start of something pretty violent, right? So 2-day closed, you kept pushing, right? 2-day close was the push right there. 2-day close was a push, right? But then these two-day closes didn't really have much of an effect. And this one also, again, 2-day close, the start of a huge rally from March. But then these, right, you were super bearish this whole time frame. So it really just kind of depends. You are bouncing off channel, like I said, on DXY. So I'd have to argue that this could be a potential bottom for the dollar, and then coming back up to at least like a 1035, right? Which would mean that, SPY and everything else is going to keep dropping for a little bit longer. VIX also closed a 2-day bullish trigger. So that means that VIX right now can do some pretty violent stuff, right? Like VIX can randomly just run to like a 16.15 or like a 17 dollar to fill those gaps. So VIX looks extremely bullish, which is very, very, very bad for SPY, for SPX, right? It's very, very bad because, they can potentially drop this super hard. But again, like I said, see, you're already pushing up. You might, like I said, this might keep pushing up towards this trend here at 456 and then potentially drop, or on news, if this breaks this mid channel, you're going to moonshot to like 458, right? So it's very, very, very simple. You know, there's like a 50% chance here, and I have no idea what's going to happen because I think the news today is going to be a really good example of what direction we're going to go. So we're either going to hit this channel and drop, or we're going to hit this channel and just shoot to the upside, right? So a very good, like, it'd be very easy, right, to just kind of do this, right? You either long at channel, right, with some nice like stops, right, or you short at channel, right? Or you short this. Like as soon as you hit this channel, right, you short it all the way back down here and give yourself like a little bit of wiggle room, like right there, right? That's a very easy setup right there. And both directions, like if you're gonna short, that's a 5 to almost a 6 to 1 RR, and this one's a 4 to 1 RR. Very, very easy, simple setup. That's not gonna be very hard to trade this at all. So I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.